Where are you from?
I'm from Oxnard, California.
Okay. And how's that?
Well,
I understand Oxnard is. I grew up in Vallejo in Northern California.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Heard of it.
I feel like they're similar in some ways.
Well, I'll tell you about Oxnard, and you tell me if that's true.
Okay.
It's like kind of a small farm town.
Okay, not like that, but
okay. Well, there it is.
Already wrong.
Similarities done. It's a small farm town by the beach, and Port Hueneme is like a naval base that's kind of known amongst Navy people, I guess, and Army people.
Yeah.
But yeah, primarily strawberries is the main export of Oxnard, with other produce and such, and it was kind of like a largely Hispanic populated.
Okay, there's a Vallejo similarity.
Okay, there's one.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you writing down. And yeah, there's parts of Oxnard that are nice. I grew up in the not nice part, and dangerous things like drive-by shootings and
same. Yeah.
bullets in my dad's car.
Not that bad, but
yeah, a lot of like gang-related deaths and violent crimes, and across the street. I grew up across the street was a supposed drug dealer. The thing is like, I was always told that they were drug dealers that lived across the street, but I never really like saw any drug deals happening unless I'm just a naive kid that never really noticed that kind of stuff. But was told largely across the street there were drug dealers. And then next door, without a doubt, I lived next door to a halfway house, which was like terrifying because they're like sex offenders and like people that were like, they had been in jail already for like 15, 20 years or whatever, and then they were let back out into society to live in a halfway house where they were like watched and supervised, but also allowed to live in a neighborhood with children next door, and that was a terrifying experience. But yeah, Oxnard is, it's my hometown, man. I've got some hometown pride for that place. It's still where my folks live. And some of my family still lives there, and so, I'll visit still from time to time, to my chagrin.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be able to
What's that?
I said I'd love to be able to move my parents the fuck out of Oxnard.
Yeah.
But nowadays, things are like a lot nicer over there. There's all this urban renewal going on, and like there's like, they're building new, they're cleaning up all the gross empty lots and putting in new shops, and I don't know. It's nicer now.
Yeah, I think Vallejo's on the downswing.
Oh man, that's
because it's in the Bay area, right on the Bay, and then it's not like the town itself in general. Is not nice. Like there's probably not really any nice parts to it, but and it was stuff like that you were describing. I moved when I was like 7, so I don't really have much memory of it, and my parents don't live there anymore, so.
So you don't have to go back ever.
No, my aunt and uncle do, though. And so I hear stories still from them. And, like, the one story that I always kind of encapsulates Vallejo is my uncle doesn't sleep very well, so he went out in the middle of the night, like 3 in the morning or whatever, to take out the dog. And they don't have a backyard. So they're in the front yard. And these guys are pushing a car up the hill, because it's Vallejo, Bay Area, San Francisco area, very hilly.
Right.
And then this other car pulls up, shoots the guys, and takes off.
Holy shit.
And my uncle's just standing there like... Yeah, and he's like, and he went right in the car, or back in the house, called 911, and then that was
Holy shit.
So that's the story I always use, because I'm like, that is terrifying. I don't have any memories of that, because I was a kid, and I never saw that happen, but stuff like that happened around the town. So.
Oh, man, that's some terrifying shit.
Yeah, we want them to move out, too, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, if they're the only holdouts, then it's their own fault for staying there.
Yeah.
My parents won't move. My mom wishes she could move out of Oxnard. She wants to move out so bad, but my dad, he doesn't want to leave his precious avocado tree in the backyard of my childhood home, and he would rather die in that little house than to like leave his avocado tree. And I've been like thinking like, man, if I ever book like a big movie or if I ever like sell a TV show or a script or something, the first thing I'm going to do is budget out not only moving my parents the fuck out of Oxnard, but also how do you uproot an avocado tree
I was just gonna say,
and plant it somewhere?
Like move it somewhere with them?
Yeah, because that's really the only way my dad's going to be happy about moving out of that house. Like I could very well be like, Dad, I'm going to pay for everything. You don't have to worry. I'll even pay for movers. You don't have to touch a thing. Just get into a car and drive to this new place. I know that, like, even if I was taking care of everything, he'd still be like, but my avocado tree, man. Like, what about my avocado tree?
That's kind of sweet, though.
I mean, he would never say it because he's such a he's such a soft-spoken, quiet man with simple needs and simple wants. And he would never like disrespect any gift like that. But he would, deep down in his heart of hearts, he'd be thinking, "But how do we move my avocado tree?"
Well, what did your parents do? How was it? Were you in, like you said, it was kind of a scary area. Were you in fear all the time, or did you have like a relatively normal childhood with fun things and stuff?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily. I'd say most of my fears came from the Catholic religion more than anything. I grew up a very, very, very staunch Catholic. My mom and dad were very much into that, and still are. But they were very much about, like, you know, the church going and the praying and all that. But my mom was also very overprotective of my brother and I, so she would kind of like we would not even be allowed to cross the street alone until we were like in our teens at least.
Yeah.
Like, and my mom was very particular about who we hung out with. She would have to talk to all their parents and find out where they live and what they do and like all that kind of stuff because my mom was just so. My mom knew how dangerous and gross and disgusting and awful Oxnard was. And she just really wanted my brother and I to grow up. Maybe maybe holding the curtain up so that we can't see the bad stuff, but also in a way that, like, you know, any Hispanic mother would do, which is just in a lovingly. It was all from a place of love and you know, wanting the best for her kids. But at the end of the day, it ended up being like maybe one of the reasons why I'm such an anxious, afraid person. But you know, again, I don't fault my parents for it because they just wanted us to be protected and not join a gang or get shot up by killers or you know, all that stuff. But yeah, my mom and dad, very good parents. I have nothing bad to say about it. My dad is a very hard, old school, very, like, you know, baby boomer, like old school Mexican dad, which is like very tough love, very like pain is all in your head type shit, and very much like, you know, his like, you know, home remedies more so than going to the doctor and shit like that. But luckily my mom was grounded in reality, and she would be like, yeah, I think we need to raise these kids not the way that your dad raised you. Which my dad's dad was like this fucking terrifying old school Mexican guy who, like, you know, slept with like his favorite guns under his mattress and had like a chest filled with like fucking Civil War guns, and he collected all these like crazy guns, and like he had like there was like one holiday, I can't remember specifically which one it was, but I remember like we went over to my grandma and grandpa's house on my dad's side, which were the terrifying ones, and they were like, there was like this fucking massive pit in the backyard that they had dug out in the ground, and as a kid I remember looking at it going like, oh cool, a pit, I want to go in there, that's fun. And my dad would be like, no, you gotta be careful around that pit because inside there is a goat and there's fire in there, and we're cooking a goat in there.
Oh, I thought you meant like a live goat.
Well, it might have been alive before I got there, but
they burnt it alive.
They probably burnt it alive. Yeah,
makes it taste better.
Yeah, man. The anguish and torture tastes so good on that.
It's like foie gras, where they force feed the geese to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's. But so your dad was a little more tough, but you had the maternal kind of sheltering force as well there.
Yeah. Luckily, I had a nice balance of insanity and like sanity. but even like insanity, like even my mom had her own special kind of insanity too. But God bless her for being able to like keep any type of sanity while raising the fucking maniac monsters that my brother and I were. and the like insanely hard to raise monster gremlin idiot that I was.